Erica Mena believed that this pregnancy would be a new beginning for her, a chapter full of happiness, healing, and hope. But now, there are horrifying rumors circulating online that her newborn child may be extremely ill. Erica was recently taken to the hospital following what insiders are describing as a medical emergency that left doctors deeply concerned, according to those familiar with the matter. Even though Erica hasn't confirmed anything yet, the quiet is merely stoking. More rumors, and the rumors are spreading like wildfire. Is her child actually in danger? What precisely did the physicians discover? Social media is ablaze with speculations, anxieties, and prayers, as followers are in disbelief. A potential pregnancy issue that might drastically alter the reality star's life is being hinted to by sources. While some attribute it to stress, others think it's something far more severe. Whatever the reality, it's obvious that Erica and her close friends and family are making every effort to hide the truth. But the cracks are beginning to emerge. Could this issue endanger the mother and the child? Or is someone's reputation being safeguarded by concealing the truth? What we're going to hear next might shatter your heart. And the emotional tempest that's building behind the scenes is only getting started. It all started with a mysterious message made late at night on a fan page that was intimately related to Erica. With the comment, "Prayers up for Erica," the group posted a grainy image of what looked to be Erica walking into a hospital. She is reportedly ill. In a matter of minutes, followers began saturating the comments section with requests for clarification. Others felt that something was really wrong, while others dismissed it as sensationalism. And the authenticity of the picture was verified. Less than an hour later, rumors that it was related to her pregnancy soon surfaced once it was confirmed that Erica had been taken to the hospital. Everything was made much more dramatic by the official stories of Erica's silence. She used to upload things every day, like quotations, selfies, and videos of her children. But now she doesn't. After 2 days of outfit checks and behind-the-scenes glimpses into her life, her Instagram account was absolutely empty. Online, the vibe changed. Once critical of her for drama or previous relationships, her supporters were now unified in their concern. Something was really strange. A shocking revelation was subsequently made by a well-known but unsubstantiated celebrity rumor website. According to their purported insider information, physicians discovered an uncommon pregnancy problem in Erica. They used phrases like emergency, monitoring, risk to the baby's health, and serious emotional distress. But they didn't elaborate. The hashtags #PrayForErica and #Erica Baby Health became popular within a few hours. In the hopes that she would overcome whatever it was she was dealing with, followers started sharing their own experiences of pregnancy problems. Everywhere, hypotheses were exploding. Citing her previous dramatic interviews and social media feuds, several conjectured that it was stress-related. Others blamed Erica's ex-boyfriend Safari, saying that his lack of support and absence could have contributed. Many pointed out that Erica had openly sobbed during her previous pregnancy because she felt abandoned. "She's been through enough," one fan wrote in a tweet. "We won't forgive this man if he drove her over the brink once more." Then the startling revelation that put the internet into a tailspin occurred. Anonymous messages were sent to a gossip account by a nurse who was purportedly employed at the hospital where Erica was confined. She said that medical professionals had brought up an issue known as placental insufficiency, which can restrict the baby's access to oxygen and nutrients. Erica's support following was rocked by the mere rumor of a medical issue, even though it wasn't confirmed. People began posting medical articles, discussing their anxieties, and searching for information about the ailment on Google. Comments ranged from, "I went through this," to, "This can be so dangerous if not caught early. I nearly lost my kid because of that." As the rumors began to circulate more quickly, focus shifted on Safari, who said nothing at all. He hadn't shared anything, not even a hazy prayer emoji. not any acknowledgement or care, and that was unacceptable to a lot of supporters. His earlier articles began to be inundated with comments requesting an answer. One person commented, "You're simply out here posting gym pictures when your baby mom is in the hospital?" Disgusting. Some were less kind, criticizing him for his prior actions and accusing him of being the reason she's so stressed. Some astute followers brought up the fact that Safari had been seen at an event the same evening that Erica was purportedly admitted. He was shown appearing relaxed, wearing casual clothing, and joking with companions. It was over as soon as the image appeared on blogs. People were incensed. They saw it as total emotional desertion rather than merely neglect. She might be losing their child, and he's out there acting like it's a normal Saturday, read one well-known tweet. This is really callous. Meanwhile, someone close to Erica's team disclosed that she had been experiencing a great deal of stress in the previous several weeks. She had hardly been eating or sleeping since she was juggling legal troubles with her ex-boyfriends, attempting to shield her kids from the public and repairing her reputation after several scandals. According to another source, Erica had made an appointment for an emergency examination after receiving some concerning test results a few days before to the hospital visit. However, when physicians discovered indications of fetal distress, the appointment escalated into a full-fledged stay. Someone even said that immediately after getting to the hospital, Erica passed out. Within minutes, the tale went viral. People made assumptions about what may have caused her to collapse. Was it emotional anguish, physical weariness, or something more serious related to the pregnancy? Real solutions were desperately needed by supporters. When several internet reporters attempted to contact her team, they received a succinct reply stating that Erica is currently under medical care. We request your privacy at this time. But the last thing the internet desired was privacy. The sounds increased in volume as she became more silent. Then, just when it seemed like there was nothing else to speculate about, another anonymous tip came in. It was a person posing as a buddy of a nurse who works on the same floor this time. "She's been crying non-stop," was the brief but unsettling statement. "Every hour they keep an eye on the infant. It's serious." The emotional strain was heightened by this additional detail. Fans all throughout the world were moved by the picture of Erica, who was previously fearless, tough, and apparently untouchable, now crying and gripping her abdomen while praying for her unborn child. Some began to film supportive video messages and share them using the popular hashtags. Others organized virtual prayer circles, lighted candles, and even tagged famous people who were friends with Erica to encourage them to speak up and offer support. The re-emergence of an old video of Erica discussing parenthood and declaring, "I would do anything for my kids," was one of the most devastating moments. Anything. They are everything to me, even though I could make errors. The video went viral once more, but this time it was seen from a totally new angle. People were now seeing a mother who was frightened and vulnerable, perhaps going through every parent's worst fear, rather than just a famous person. Eventually, amid strict security, photographers managed to get a glimpse of someone being brought into a hospital room. Fans were certain it was Erica, even if the face was hidden. The guy was surrounded by nurses, slumped over and had a sweatshirt covering his face. As the wheelchair went by, one witness claimed to have heard someone sob quietly. That little tidbit was sufficient to cause yet another internet heartache. Shortly later, one of Erica's closest friends wrote a mysterious message on her Instagram story. "God, please keep my sister safe. One ontur. She is not worthy of this suffering." Although she didn't specifically mention Erica, people quickly connected the dots. After receiving a barrage of supportive direct messages, the buddy quickly removed the piece, maybe out of concern that she had disclosed too much. However, the harm had already been done. It was now evident that whatever was happening in that hospital room was genuine, unfiltered, and horrifying. Another rumor surfaced while fans were trying to catch their breath, implying that Erica had momentarily lost consciousness and that doctors were getting ready for an emergency birth if the baby's health didn't improve within the next 48 hours. News was devastating. The internet was now holding its collective breath due to the high level of emotions. Then the most heartbreaking picture of all appeared at that moment. The picture was not intended for public consumption. It was anonymously posted to a gossip site by someone working at the hospital, and it quickly went viral on social media. The image displayed a lady with her face turned away from the camera, lying in a hospital bed with cables tied to her arms and monitors all around her. A man sat next to her, clutching her hand and lowering his head. Fans were certain it was Erica, even if the faces were obscured for privacy. They emphasized the bracelet design, the tattoos, and even the noticeable slope of her nose, which is seldom discernible in the side view. Furthermore, despite the confusion on the internet, the man seated next to the woman could only be one person if she was Erica. Someone boldly posted, "It's Safari. He arrived. He is present." Immediately, the topic of discussion changed. Those who had been dragging him for hours were now perplexed. Some were optimistic, while others were doubtful. "If that's really him, then maybe he does care," one admirer said. "He may have arrived late, but he showed up." "Too little, too late," said another icily. "You are not a hero just because you turn up when the media notices." However, the rumor that Safari hadn't arrived alone was what truly sent everyone into a panic. An anonymous hospital employee said that Erica's mother had contacted him in a desperate attempt to reach him. She apparently warned him that if he didn't come right away, he may miss something he would never be able to forgive himself for since things were getting worse. The anger increased tenfold when it was suggested that Safari ought to be urged to go see the mother of his kid, who could be losing their child. More disturbing news was emerging behind the scenes. According to a medical staff source, Erica's health was not getting better. Because of the baby's erratic heart rate, the physicians were worried about extended oxygen deprivation. They were keeping the surgical team on standby and watching her minute by minute, even though they hadn't hurried into an emergency C-section just yet. Already emotional, the crowd were now tense. After experiencing similar scares, several women began posting about them online, starting threads that were full of love, dread, and hope. One person said, "I experienced the same issue. After being delivered at 29 weeks, my kid spent months in the intensive care unit. Even if it's horrible, miracles do occur. Erica, keep strong." Celebrities who had previously kept quiet about Erica's life started to speak out. "Sending love and strength to my girl" was the message for a throwback photo shared by a former co-star from her reality show days. "You've been a warrior all your life. Continue to fight." Fans saw delivery vehicles and bouquets being hurried into the hospital after others delivered flowers there. The outpouring of support simply served to highlight how dire the situation was. Then, a little yet significant upgrade appeared. Someone, claiming to be Erica's distant cousin, sent a message to a well-known gossip website. "I spoke with her sister," they wrote. She claimed that after opening her eyes for a while, Erica inquired about the baby. "She's quite weak, but aware now. She is afraid." The statement made people shiver all over. Fans couldn't fathom what it must be like to wake up in a hospital bed, surrounded by machines, yearning for a miracle, and not knowing if your child is still okay. However, another twist broke the frail optimism that was starting to form. Even though the sounds were distorted, the tape that was leaked purportedly from a medical staff chat was enough to cause widespread fear. There was a nurse who said, "She's bleeding again. They may not have the patience to wait. They are going to remove it if the infant doesn't stabilize within the next hour." Although the veracity of the tape could not be entirely verified, fans were led to accept it by its tone, timing, and alignment with other leaks. Globally, the hashtag #SaveErica'sBaby started to trend. Even those who had previously not been fans were now keeping up with the narrative. News organizations started circling in an attempt to get statements from Erica's team, but they remained mute. The only certainty that everyone had was that this was no longer a wildly sensationalized tabloid narrative. It seemed terrifyingly genuine, whatever was going on in that hospital room. Around that time, Safari's profile had an odd live video. Although it was removed after only 15 seconds or so, it was enough to silence many. Someone, perhaps Safari, was spotted walking back and forth while urgently talking on the phone in the darkened hospital hallway. One remark was almost discernible despite the muffled voice. "I didn't think it'd get this bad." That little video only served to fan the flames. The difficult questions started to be asked. Did Safari disregard danger indicators? Had Erica attempted to let him know something wasn't quite right? Was her physical health suffering as a result of the mental strain she had experienced during their relationship? Did Safari's neglect put their baby in danger? Is the heading of one blog article. In just a few hours, it had over 200,000 views. More information started to surface while feelings were running high, this time from Erica's circle of friends. "This could have been prevented," one close friend said in a tweet before deleting it. "She pleaded for tranquility. She pleaded for sleep. However, you continued to drag her name. She was broken by you." The letter seemed like a direct jab at everyone who has criticized Erica throughout the years, including the media, fans, and Safari. Meanwhile, tensions were high within the hospital. A person with knowledge of the situation said that a neonatal team and physicians were in continuous communication. Just in case, an incubator had already been transported into the delivery wing. "They're hoping for the best while preparing for the worst," one staffer said in a whisper to a reporter. Support was being organized by fans back online. People organized a digital vigil using candles and profile photo filters, set up prayer rooms on the site, and streamed peaceful music and good wishes on YouTube. For one lady and her unborn child, the entire internet seemed to halt and hold its breath. Additionally, a fresh message was uploaded to Erica's secret fan club, just as everything seemed hopelessly precarious. The administrator stated, "She's going into surgery," after speaking with a member of the family. "More than ever, pray." Screenshot of that message was circulated on all platforms. It was taking place. It appeared that the physicians had taken action after hours of deliberation. Nobody knew for sure if it was to save Erica, the baby, or both. Feelings arose. People started sharing gifs of candles, sobbing emoticons, and prayers in all uppercase. Some people expressed their admiration for Erica's strength in open letters. Others created tribute movies that montaged her strong points, such as her most sensitive interviews as a mother or her intense reality TV clashes. The world was watching her battle for her child, and she was more than simply a famous person at that time. And the same concern was on everyone's mind as the operating room doors closed behind her. Would they both survive? Erica lay unconscious amid a horde of medical professionals in the hospital's antiseptic and anxious operating room. As the obstetrician nodded sharply and the anesthesiologist repositioned her breathing tube, monitors beeped in irregular patterns. One doctor bitterly said, "We can't wait any longer. We must remove the baby right away." Following that, the room descended into a thick quiet that was only broken by the hasty sounds of getting ready. The incubator was waiting at the far wall. The nurses were moving swiftly, and the equipment were clinking. Safari was sitting on a seat outside the room, holding his head in his hands. He appeared totally shattered for the first time. The man, who used to be known for his flamboyant lifestyle and never-ending smile, was hardly recognized by those who went by. This was not a moment he was shooting. He wasn't sharing it online. Here, there was simply terror and no audience. Someone close to him claimed that he had not talked for more than 20 minutes. He simply continued saying in a whisper, "Please, don't do this. Not her. Not the infant." Erica's mother, meantime, was sitting quietly in the waiting area, holding a rosary and muttering prayers to herself. Her eyes were puffy and red, and her heart skipped a beat whenever a doctor walked by without pausing. "We'll let you know as soon as there's an update," a nurse remarked when she briefly approached. But it wasn't enough. Until she saw her grandchild sobbing and her daughter breathing, nothing would be sufficient. Fans gathered outside the hospital. They were just standing together, some carrying placards, some holding candles, and some even singing gentle lullabies, without shouting or creating mayhem. What began as rumors had evolved into something more profound. Strangers from many states and towns came together out of worry for a woman they had only seen on their screens, but who now felt a strong connection to. Time appeared to stop in the surgery room. The atmosphere in the room changed to razor-sharp focus as the physicians made the incision. The birth was stressful due to problems and the baby's poor positioning. "We must work quickly," one physician stated. In a matter of seconds, a small, frail body was silently raised out. Too quiet. Panic struck. A nurse murmured, "No cry." A professional hurried forward to do rapid resuscitation, clamping and cutting. The infant's limbs were pallid and limp. Hours passed in the span of seconds. Then, a feeble scream. It was so quiet that it was hardly audible, yet it was enough to halt everyone's heart. The nurse's voice broke with passion as she declared, "We've got something." However, the relief was fleeting. Another doctor pointed to Erica and said, "We have hemorrhaging." Her blood pressure was falling. Quick. One staff concentrated only on preserving Erica, while another hurried the baby into the neonatal critical care unit. Blood bags were ordered. The beeps of machinery increased. A backup call was made. Everyone in that room was giving it their all, and it was mayhem, but controlled chaos. As this patient wasn't your typical one. She was a mother, a combatant, someone whose tale has impacted millions of others. Word quickly spread throughout the waiting area about the baby's cries and Erica's continuous struggles. Her mother sobbed furiously as she fell into a chair. Safari suddenly got to his feet and struck the wall so forcefully that security came over, uncertain whether to step in or not. However, he didn't require protection. He required trust. He required pardon. He feared that he could have already spent the time he needed. A nurse's acquaintance shared the baby's survival on a private Facebook group. The message said, "The baby made it. Small but alive. It's important yet promising," they say. Thousands of people shared and reposted the statement, which became viral online. While relieved, fans were nonetheless afraid. Every update was a whirlwind of emotions. Then, some 40 minutes after the procedure started, a physician appeared. He took off his mask and approached the family that was waiting calmly. His expression was solemn yet unflappable. "She's stable," he said softly. "We succeeded in halting the hemorrhage. She made it, but her rehabilitation will take a while." The room exploded. Erica's mother screamed, and then she started crying with relief. With tears streaming down his face, Safari collapsed to his knees and cried down. The family had a brief moment of tranquility as the nurses in the area politely turned away. Even the security guard beside surreptitiously dabbed at his eyes. The joy was immediately shared on social media. As supporters sent pictures, inspirational quotes, and old videos of her talking about parenthood, the hashtag #EricaFighter started to gain popularity. "You've been through hell and back and still stand tall," one fan said. "You're capable." "This baby was born from strength," someone else said. "Nothing else. Power." However, the respite was followed by a fresh round of inquiries. The infant was severely prematurely born. Physicians assessed the gestational age to be between 28 and 30 weeks. Low birth weight, infection risks, and undeveloped lungs are possible problems. There was no denying a lengthy stay in the ICU. It would be crucial every hour. Then there was another twist. A furious exchange between Safari and Erica's sister was apparently overheard by a hospital nurse. The account claims that the sister responded, "Don't you dare act like the hero now. You failed to be there for her when she most needed you, and she nearly died." According to reports, Safari replied, "I'm here now. I had no idea it was so nasty." The sister allegedly said, "You weren't listening, so you didn't know. You never pay attention." Now that the conflict between the families was public knowledge, a whole new level of drama emerged. Some supporters supported Safari by arguing that loss causes individuals to change. Others supported Erica's family because they thought his cries were too late. Men who desert their partners during pregnancy don't get to cry at the hospital and expect redemption, a well-known influencer wrote in a TikTok. "Erica, keep your peace." Meanwhile, Erica eventually awoke from her hospital bed. Her first question was, "Is my kid okay?" She was gently informed by a nurse that the baby was alive and receiving treatment. Erica sobbed quietly because she was too weak to continue. Her hand made a little movement, reaching for the area where life formerly resided in her tummy. She was struck like a wave by the absence. She was devastated to learn that her baby was no longer inside her, and that she had not been cognizant during the birth. Doctors took their time explaining everything. They were honest with her. The kid was stable but required ongoing care. They reassured her that her decision to come in at that time was the right one. They praised her for her bravery. A hospital employee later that evening disclosed that Erica had requested seclusion. She was not yet ready for guests, not even Safari. The worker stated, "She needs time. She is assimilating everything. She is physically and emotionally worn out." And a nurse put a little picture of the infant by her bedside as she slept. Wrapped with tubes and cables, the infant appeared incredibly little, yet alive. And it was plenty for now. Even still, the weight of what had transpired and what was ahead hung heavy in the room as Erica slept in fits and starts. The conflict had not ended. Not by any means. The conflict had not ended. Not by any means. For Erica's family, the hospital turned into a second home in the days that followed. Erica was still recovering. Her emotions were still raw, but her strength was gradually returning. She was still not permitted to hold her child. According to the physicians, the baby's immune system was dangerously weak. His lungs were immature, and he was still too vulnerable. Gloves and sterilization measures were necessary simply to touch him. However, Erica gazed at the picture next to her bed every day, learning every little detail. Every day, Safari would go to the NICU and spend hours watching their child battle from behind the glass. He occasionally muttered prayers. At other times, he simply stood there with tears streaming down his cheeks. His detractors started to change their minds a little. Others cautioned that too little, too late doesn't erase the past, while others said, perhaps he's really trying this time. Tension was still simmering within the facility. Safari was not allowed anywhere close to Erica's hospital room by her sister. When he attempted to stop by, she allegedly said, "You've done enough. Where were you when she nearly passed away while carrying your child out having a good time? Sharing self-portraits?" Safari didn't answer. With his shoulders slumped like a defeated man, he simply turned and left. Meanwhile, a fresh internet rumor surfaced suggesting that stress could have been the cause of Erica's issue. One unnamed insider claimed that Erica had been under a lot of emotional strain before the incident. According to the source, she was crying a lot, barely sleeping. No one realized how bad things were between her and Safari. A few days before she passed off, they had one more disagreement. Social media was ablaze with conjecture. Old live recordings came back to life. We analyzed tweets from previous months. Every facial expression from Erica's most recent interviews was examined by admirers who identified symptoms of emotional weariness. "Ladies, never let a man stress you into the hospital," said one of the widely shared tweets. Your tranquility is more valuable than any romantic partnership. Nevertheless, despite everything, Erica's only concern was her child. A nurse smiled cautiously as she entered her room on the 6th day. Are you interested in seeing him? Gently, she questioned. Erica froze. Her heart was racing. Her lips became parched. All she could do was nod. Slowly, they wheeled her inside the NICU. She was struck initially by the sterile odor, a pungent combination of machinery and antiseptic. Then she caught sight of him. Small, delicate, wrapped in plastic, with a mask to aid with breathing and cables fastened to his chest. However, he was present. Living. Erica's breath caught. She stretched out, her gloved fingers lightly caressing the transparent box, tears running down her face. Hello, sweetheart, she murmured. Mom is present. The nurse next to her gave her a kind grin. He's powerful. You give it to him. Everything changed at that instant. It was now more about connection than it was about survival, affection, recuperation. However, recovery would not be simple. Outside the hospital, the media frenzy had intensified. Reporters attempted to buy updates from employees. Drones hovered over the hospital roof in an attempt to get a look. One reporter even pretended to be a nurse in order to enter the premises covertly, but she was swiftly hauled out. Security was strengthened at the facility. Employees were not allowed to talk to the media. They relocated Erica to a private floor. Leaks persisted, nevertheless. According to a narrative released by one publication, Erica and Safari were preparing to get back together. According to a purported close friend cited in the piece, they've been through hell, and it brought them closer. However, Eric's crew promptly shut it down. In a statement, her management claimed, "That is completely untrue. Her child is her sole worry at the moment. Relationships are not on her mind." Fans, however, continue to be split. Some others thought that second chances were possible. Others called for responsibility. In only 2 days, a well-liked YouTube video called "Why Erica Should Never Take Safari Back" had over 1 million views. Debates erupted in the comments area. He left her when she was at her weakest, one person remarked. She is worthy of better. People change when they experience genuine terror, according to another. Perhaps this served as a wake-up call for him. Erica made a silent choice inside the hospital. She requested one moment of alone with Safari, not a family. No medical professionals, only them. She was resolute yet pale as he entered the room. She spoke clearly yet softly. "Why now?" she inquired. No attempt was made by Safari to defend himself. He made no justifications. He just responded, "I made a mistake. I've acted like a coward. I ran because I didn't know how to support you." Tears welled up in Erica's eyes. "I nearly passed away. Our son nearly passed away." "I understand," answered Safari, "and it's killing me." They were silent for a while, heavy, intolerable. Then again, Erica spoke. "We are not the focus of this. Now it's about him. You will need to demonstrate your want to be a part of his life. To him, not to me, as well as to yourself." Safari gave a slow nod. "I'll." They did not embrace. Neither of them held hands. There was no enchanting reunion or romantic music. However, something changed. A line was drawn, evident, firm, courteous. And that was sufficient for the time being. Erica's strength recovered as the days stretched into weeks. Determined to walk without assistance once more, she started physical therapy. She visited her infant every day, whispering lullabies and reading stories through the incubator wall. Physicians were astounded by the baby's fortitude. One person commented, "He's a fighter, like his mother." Social media also started to change its tone. Erica Strong and Miracle Baby started to trend together. Famous people sent flowers. In her honor, supporters collected funds for NICU's charities. Even ex-detractors acknowledged that they were motivated. "I had already judged her," according to one tweet. "All I want now is for her and that child to prosper." However, a medical report that had been released was the next surprise. According to a screenshot that went viral online, Erica's pregnancy issues started weeks earlier than the general public was aware. Although it was kept confidential, it said that she had spent a brief period of time in the hospital 2 months before to the incident. Another major element mentioned in the paper was recurrent emotional stressors. Speculation erupted once more. Fans wondered whether her physique had been subtly pushed to the limit by the tension in her personal life. According to one blogger, this wasn't sudden. This was a culmination of pressure, negligence, and heartache. The leak infuriated Erica's group. Her attorney threatened legal action in a statement. He said that this was a blatant violation of medical privacy. Someone will be held responsible. Investigations were conducted on hospital employees behind the scenes. 2 workers received suspensions, and Erica asked to be released early, feeling more violated than ever. Doctors approved, provided she adhered to rigorous at-home care guidelines and returned every day for her baby's observation. Cameras showed her being wheeled to a private vehicle while sporting sunglasses and a sweatshirt as she eventually left the hospital. She failed to wave. She remained silent. However, she kept the picture of her child near her chest. She didn't know what to do next. However, it was evident that she had changed since arriving at the hospital a few weeks prior. She has experienced terror, betrayal, grief, and death, and she had managed to endure it all somehow. However, the narrative did not end there, because her spirit was still catching up while her body was recovering. And the most crucial battle for her kid was only getting started. As the dust settles and Erica embarks on her protracted recuperation, admirers everywhere continue to wonder, what will happen next? Will her child survive these crucial first few weeks and become stronger every day? Will Safari take charge and, at last, fulfill his dream of becoming a father? Above all, will Erica ever be at peace after all the suffering she has gone through? All we can do now is hope. Fans have been stunned by the entire scenario, which has evoked strong feelings and revealed the harsh truth of what may occur behind the filtered grins and glitzy pictures. It serves as a reminder that even the strongest people may falter, and that sometimes being strong involves fighting to survive when everything seems to be crumbling, not just acting as though nothing is wrong. The world watches as Erica clings to hope, as her kid fights on in the NICU. Fans are writing heartfelt words, supporters are sending prayers, and everyone is pulling for the same goal: recovery, emotional as well as bodily. Not only for the infant, but also for Erica. And we'd want to hear from you today. How do you feel about the whole situation? Do you think Safari genuinely regrets what he did in the past? Is it time to walk on without looking back? Or should Erica give him another chance? Do you believe that the media should be held responsible for going too far at such a delicate moment? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We'll be reading them all. Additionally, to ensure you never miss an update on this ongoing narrative, remember to press the bell button, subscribe to the channel, and like this video, since this is only the beginning and not the finish.